You're a thinking person. How can you choose this lifestyle?
What is so incredibly great about New York? It's a dying city. You read Death in Venice.
You didn't read Death in Venice till I gave it to you.
Well, you only give me books with the word death in the title.
It's an important issue.
The beginning of Annie Hall was where took things from much later into the film to make it feel as though we were getting to know who the Alvy character was, and then go into the Keaton material. And it was clear that at the end that we had to do something that was going to wrap up their relationship more effectively. But you needed a callback kind of scene. But the series of, in a manner of speaking, that was what sets you up for the end of this thing. That's another sort of callback idea in terms of the source scene, as we called it, the scene between him and Annie on Sunset Boulevard at that restaurant, was then something that they reshot as his idea of, you know, how that really should have worked out.
I'm gonna go with you. I love you.
Because he had had so many problems with endings, it was the first time that 2 weeks of shooting was built into the production schedule, for reshooting, I mean, for that on Annie Hall.
The other thing about the end was that the very ending was never working, and Woody was always wanting it to end with a big laugh, because that was his comfort zone. That's the early funny ones, as he termed them in Stardust Memories, were his bread and butter. That was what he sold him to audiences, and that's what audiences expected from him. So he was looking for a joke that was as big as the sneezing on the Coke that happened earlier in the picture. He was looking for something to top that. And we actually had a conversation, he and I, on leaving the cutting room one day, and we were talking about this, and I don't mean in any way that I was like in any way contributing to this, but I said to him, from the standpoint of a woman watching this, I don't know whether you get the degree to which you've got the female character working really well here, and the degree to which young people are going to respond to this as the way relationships are. So I said, I don't think you have to go for a big laugh. I think you've got your big laugh. Nothing's going to top that other thing in terms of the biggest laugh in the film. That's just the way it is. I said, I wish you'd just sort of trust the emotion of it, and I wish you'd sort of trust the same sort of sensibility that you had in the opening of the thing. It's the same sort of sensibility as the jokes that you threw off in the opening montage. So the end thing was an ad lib that he did in the studio. He did it live in the isolation booth to picture. So the "We Need the Eggs" line comes from
and
from
it's
him.
It's a good bookend, since he talks to the screen at the beginning and tells a joke.
And I thought of that old joke, this guy goes to a psychiatrist and says, "Doc, my brother's crazy. He thinks he's a chicken." And the doctor says, "Well, why don't you turn him in?" And the guy says, "I would, but I need the eggs." Well, I guess that's pretty much now how I feel about relationships. They're totally irrational and crazy and absurd, but I guess we keep going through it because most of us need the eggs.
You